Good afternoon, all. So we are excited to have you all for the user acceptance testing kickoff meeting for our new data collection platform, which is a newer version of our existing PIMS for the people who know what the classic PIMS is, or as it's a newer and modernized version for the data collection platform. And as a quick introduction, myself, Sudhanshu Setia, I am part of the project implementation group, and we have our representative from the RSID division, as well as from HRSA technology group. From RSID division, we have Selena, and from HRSA technology group, we have Shripati, who has kickstarted, and Jean. And Selena, please, would you like to add someone else? I don't see Kameshwari, but you want to mention about anyone else from the program?
Yeah, I'll just mention, I don't think folks were able to make it today, so apologies for that. But if anyone has any questions that need to get back to folks within RSID, we'll do that after this call.
Sure, no worries. And I see Anna has posted saying she's here. Thank you, Anna. So Anna and Selena from the program, and we have our HRSA technology group, including Shripati. So if in case of any questions, please feel free to type in the chat window. All right, to get started with our UAT kickoff for external users. So just before I get started, I'll talk about UAT because we will talk about this word many times during this kickoff meeting. So UAT is nothing but as user acceptance testing. So welcome everyone for the user acceptance testing kickoff for RSID BHS and MAT access program. What are we going to cover in today's meeting? I'll give a quick rundown for the agenda today. We will provide you the...
Sorry to stop. Oh, can we share the deck, please?
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we are.
Okay, thank you. So we will start with the overview for enhancements. What is coming in our August release? We'll provide you an overview. What is going to get released in this upcoming August release? Now, the next step is, and the important part is our user acceptance testing. So what is the structure and the process of this user acceptance testing? What are the expectations from the participants who will be testing the UAT environment? What are the steps to participate? How you can follow through the scripts which has been added for user acceptance testing? What all scenarios need to be tested? And finally, how you can communicate your feedback to the group. So we will be providing all the details about the user acceptance testing process as well as the feedback consolidation process. After we have this UAT rundown, we will provide you the system demo, which will be a step-to-step demo and presentation of our new Salesforce system. Jerry from our team, he'll be providing you the demo of the system. In the last, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask at the later point of time or add in the chat window or raise your hand during the meeting. Now, what is there in enhancements for UAT or August release? As we spoke, this is a new modernized data collection platform which is getting implemented in Salesforce. But what exactly that means to the end user? It means it's a new, very user-friendly interface where you can have the new look and feel and access your grantee reporting system, PO review module, how the new data reporting will look like. It's a new modernized system. It will have all the enhanced user interface for the end user. Now, what is the exactly purpose of this user acceptance testing? Since our release is in August, and when we say release, it means all the functionality will be available in production in our live system after this goes live in late August. But we are conducting this user acceptance testing to confirm from the end user the system implementation is in the alignment of the requirement collected in the past requirement sessions with the program office. This phase is really important for us to collect the feedback from the end user, because the end users are the one who will be going to use the system. It's a very important where end user come and test on the UAT environment, how the system in the production will look like. What is our goal from this UAT? We want to collect your feedback. We want to collect your comments around how the usability, performance, or intuitiveness is, how much it is improved, and how we can improve it further. We will capture all the feedbacks as part of our feedbacks comments. The process of collecting the feedback comments will be described later in this session. Now, what are the timing? What is the UAT schedule? So to kickstart the UAT, we are having a kickoff meeting just now. It will run till 3 p.m. and the testing will be available from July 10th to July 21st. This is our upcoming UAT schedule. The environment will be available for next 2 weeks for the grantees or for all the users who are participating in this UAT to test the RSID BHS and RSID MAT access functionality, which is going to be available in production in late August. Now, what this user acceptance testing is not about. This is not a new requirement session. However, any feedback comment over the usability are accepted, and please, but if you see any major gap in the implementation, please bring it to our attention so that we can discuss it with the program and HRSA technology office and prioritize it accordingly. However, the implementation is based on the requirement discussion which happened in past with the program office. One main thing to notice here is the UAT is not happening on a live production system. So the data you will see in this user acceptance testing environment is test data. So you might see some mock numbers over there. However, the functionality is exact replica of what is getting implemented in production. So feel free to play around the system. Feel free to follow the UAT script left and right and let us know your feedback. This testing is not a substitute of training or any kind of adoption. There will be a separate training and adoption sessions in the future. However, for the UAT, we are going to open the grantees support session, which will happen 2 times in a week. To provide a little more detail on that, we are having weekly twice the office hours for all the external grantee participants who will be doing this user acceptance testing. The invites will be sent out on Monday along with other UAT documentation. So for now, the proposed timings are every Tuesday and Thursday during this UAT window, which comes on July 11th, 13th, 18th, and 20th from 3 to 4 p.m. In case anyone has any concerns over the timing, please feel free to reach out to Program Office and HRSA Technology Office, and we will coordinate with Program Office and HRSA OIT to accommodate the timings request. UAT environment for the testing environment. This will be available up and running from morning 9 a.m. till 8 p.m. EST. So that being said, we have kept in mind like some of our end users are not available in East Coast and they might be testing from the West Coast. So the UAT environment will be available as per their hours too. The environment might go down after 8 p.m. for any kind of deployment purposes. However, if any of the grantee or any UAT participant is trying to test after the work hours, please send us an email and we'll try to accommodate their request as much as possible. We'll try. You are not facing any login related issues or environment should always be up when any UAT participant is testing. And just to reiterate, I know this UAT word is coming again and again. This UAT is nothing but user acceptance testing. Please bring it, and if you see any feedback, any comments, feel free to provide at any point of time during UAT window. In case you are facing blocker, if you are facing blocker trying to test outside the office hours and this is a blocker for you to move on, send an email at any point of time during the UAT window. The email addresses will be provided on Monday after all the kickoffs are done. But please feel free to send us an email at any point of time while you are testing. We will respond back to you as early as possible. Before I move forward, if anyone has any questions? All right, so what are our steps to participate? How we can participate in this user acceptance testing? The first prerequisite what we have is that every user must need to create an account in a testlogin.gov website. As Shripati has confirmed during the start of the meeting, this process is exactly same as the grantees have been following in the production environment. However, since this user acceptance testing is not happening on the live system, the user must need to register themselves in testlogin.gov environment. And there is a detailed step-by-step document which has been shared with the grantee. We will be giving a quick walkthrough of that document during this session, as well as this document will be attached after the kickoff session and send it out to the whole group. Once you have registered yourself with the testlogin.gov website, please follow the UAT scripts, the step-by-step use case document, and provide your feedback. And in case you have any additional feedback, feel free to send it any point through the email or to the process which will be communicated after the kickoff on Monday. What are we trying to cover in this user acceptance testings? So RCOP BHS forms, MAT access forms, validations, the grantee raw data report, how grantees can submit the report, how they can submit it to PO for review, what email notification they will be getting, what kind of PDFs they can see that will be implemented as part of August release. However, this PDF functionality is work in progress at the moment and not ready on Monday for the user acceptance testing. In case of any updates, we will update you during the grantee work hours or via email to all the participants. So before I start with the demo, I just want to let you know what all documents you can expect. We will have pre-UAT grantee registration, how you will provide. Let me share that document, how that document will look like. So if you will see, this is a pre-UAT grantee registration, how you can register yourself using test login.gov website. So this is a step-by-step document. This will be provided in case of any questions. And this document has already been shared with the group. So if you have any questions, please feel free to send us the email. In addition to this pre-UAT grantee registration document, this kickoff presentation will be shared. There is a UAT scripts document, which is nothing but step-by-step details of how you need to follow the UAT script. So if you see this description, what the result you should expect and what are the comments you can add. Let's say if you get the result, if as expected, you can add the comment as pass. But if you are not getting the result as expected, please add your feedback in the comment section. But please add the steps to reproduce so that our quality assurance team can reproduce that scenario and get back to the root cause of the issue. So all these document along with the data sheet, I'll show you how data sheet looks like at towards the end, will be sent out with a meeting invite on Monday. We have our detailed UAT scenarios listed in the UAT document, but just to give you a high level what all we are trying to test as part of this user acceptance testing, the first step is grantees should log in into using the login.gov account. They will need to access the different tabs which are available in the systems. The third step is they can complete the forms as they need to do in the production and then submit it for the POs to review. And then the last but not the least, how they can access their raw data reports. So all these are the major scenarios which are part of the user acceptance testing scripts. However, the scripts are very, very detailed. So this is just again a sample, and all the environment URLs, username, passwords will be shared as part of our documents, which will be attached to the email invite and sent it out on the Monday. Just to reiterate, PDF functionality is currently work in progress. It will not be available on Monday for the user acceptance testing. Any questions before we start on demo, the actual system? All right, if no other questions, Jerry from our team, he'll be presenting the demo for data collection platform system. Jerry, over to you.
Thank you, Sudhanshu, and give me just a moment here to share my screen. Good afternoon and good morning to some. Thank you all for joining us for this kickoff meeting on our user acceptance testing. The first thing I want to start with is harken back to the user guide for your pre-UAT manual for what you need to do to set up for login.gov. I want to start there by walking you through setting up your user account with login.gov for the test environment. So you'll come to the URL that's provided for you within your test script, and when you get there, you'll see a screen that looks a lot like this. You want to click on the XMS button. When you click on the XMS button, that's going to open up login.gov, and you're going to have the option to sign in or create an account. I'm going to go ahead and click on create an account. And when you click on create an account, first thing you need to do is provide your email address. The email address that was submitted for you as part of this user acceptance testing. And then you'll select your language and click on the read and accept login.gov rules and click the submit button. And when you do that, you're going to receive an email. Let me just check my email. Give me 1 sec. And you'll receive an email from login.gov asking you to confirm your email address. And you'll click on this blue button to confirm your email address. And once your email address is confirmed, then you're going to want to create a password for yourself. There it is. Password is. You want to make sure your password is at least 12 characters long so that it passes the strength test. And then put it in again. And once you put in your password and confirmed it, you can even do the show password to show it to yourself and then click continue. And it'll give you the option to save your password for this particular website. If you're the only one using your computer, you may want to do this. If other people are using your computer, you probably don't want to use that option. And next, it's going to ask you to select your authentication method. You can use an authenticator application. You can choose to get a text message or a voice message, backup codes, security key, or your if you're a government employee, your government employee ID. I'm going to choose text message / or voice message, and then click continue. And since I've chosen to get a text message or a phone call, then I need to put in the phone number that's going to be used for our two-factor authentication, and then click send the code. And it's going to send the code to my phone, and I'll put that code in, and then click submit. And my phone has been added to my account. I've added my first authentication method. If I want, I can add another one, or I can skip for now. I'm going to skip for now. And then I want to agree to the terms here. So I'm going to click agree and continue. And should be logged into the HRSA program now. I'm going to, that's the
Jerry,
process for setting up. Yes?
Jerry, do you want to try accessing it through the Salesforce URL?
Yes. 1 sec. URL right here. There we go. And so now we're at the HRSA sign-in screen, and the first thing we see is the terms of service agreement. You'll need to read through this agreement, and once you read through, you can toggle to indicate that you agree with the terms of service. And after you do that, click Next. And then you'll click the Finish button to access the system, and you'll be taken into the HRSA data collection platform. I'm going to log out just once and log back in with my other user. Just give me 1 second here. Gonna close this really quickly. Close this web browser. Open it up again. Website. And I'm gonna choose to sign in as our MAT access user because I have the data set up there ready to show you. Once again, every time I log in, I'm going to get this prompt to provide the passcode that I received via text for the two-factor authentication. And once again, we come to the terms of service, toggle that I agree, and click Next. And then click Finish to access the system. And once again, we come to the HRSA data collection platform. What you'll see when you get to the HRSA data collection platform is you'll see information to assist you as you're reporting your activities. The information that you're seeing here is a placeholder. It'll be a little different when we get to the August release in late August, but it'll look similar to this, similar resources for you. The things that won't change is you're going to have tabs across the top, one for home, one for your performance reports, your RSID performance reports, and one for data extracts. On the home tab, if you click that tab, that brings you, of course, to the home page. If you click on the RSID performance reports tab, that'll bring you to your RSID performance reports. And it'll open up, the first time you open it, it's going to open up to default in your recently viewed reports. So any reports that you've recently viewed will be listed there. You can change the list view by clicking on the words recently viewed, and you can choose to see your approved reports or your in progress reports or your submitted reports. I'm going to choose the in progress reports. And you may have noticed it opened to the in progress reports before because earlier today I had pinned this list view. So you can, if you want it to open up to only show or to default to show you first your approved reports or your in progress reports, then you can just click this little pin when you have that particular list view open. And then whenever it opens up, whenever you log in, it'll open up to that particular list view. So if I go back to the home page and then I click on RSID performance reports, it opens up the reports and it shows me my in progress reports. So you can set which report list you see as your default. And once you've selected a default list or a list view that you want to see, then you'll be able to see the reports that are listed there. And we have columns of information here for you. The first column is the tracking ID. This tracking ID is how we track your performance reports within the Salesforce system. It's not a number that you'll be familiar with, but it is the number that we use to distinguish between your various performance reports and between your performance reports and the performance reports of other grantees. This next column is the submission name, followed by the grant number, the program name, the reporting period, and then the status. We see that we have one with a status of change requested. That means that it's been submitted for approval once and the project officer sent it back asking for more information. And the other one has a status of not started. So let's open up the one that's not started first so you can see what it looks like the very first time that you open up one of your performance reports. So I'm going to click on that RSID number. It's a clickable link. And that opens up our performance report. We can see here at the top, we have the performance report ID number, and right directly across from that, we have a submit for approval button. We're going to come back to that submit approval for approval button in a few moments. Well, in a little bit after we talk about the rest of the report. Just below those two features, we have an expandable header. In its collapsed form, the header shows you the grant number, your organization, grantee organization, and the reporting period. If you expand it by clicking on this little chevron, then in addition to the grant number and your organization and reporting period, you'll also see the review status, the report due date, and if this report had been submitted, you would see the submitted date. So you can keep that open to have that detail all the time, or you can collapse it once again. And then we come down to the grantee data entry section, and this is where you're going to see the elements of your report, the forms of your report. This particular report has 5 forms, and you can see that there's a red circle next to each one of these forms. If you want to know what that circle means, you come over here to our legend. The red circle means that these forms have not been started. If they were in progress, like if some work had been done but they weren't complete, there'd be a yellow clock face. And if they were complete, there'd be a green circle with a check mark. And for each one of these forms, you have the option to view the form or start the form. If you view the form, then you're only seeing the form in read-only mode. You won't be able to make any changes, but you'll be able to see it. If you click on start, then you're going to start the form and be able to begin putting information in the form to report the activities that happened during the particular reporting period. So let's go ahead and click on the start button. Take a look at what this report looks like in Form 1. So Form 1 opens up to the public burden statement. And in that public burden statement, you're going to see information, the public burden statement information, your key piece of information in the public burden statement. 2 key pieces of information. One is the OMB control number, which is listed there, and the other one is the expiration date of the OMB control number. To the right of the public burden statement, we have the steps section, and this steps section shows you all of the steps that are in this particular form. So these are the steps that you'll complete in order to complete this form. It starts with the public burden statement, and then it moves to these other steps. Each steps has at least one subsection. Most steps have more than one subsection, and you'll complete the information in each one of those subsections. Each subsection has the measures that you need to report your activity on. So let's click on the next button to go to the next step and see what information is gathered there. And you'll notice when we open up step number 2, we have this information at the top to let us know which form we're in. We're in form number 1, the service area and consortium form. We have our expandable header again, which we can open or close. We have that on every form, so that you can always look at this information that's in the header in case you need it. Just below that, we have a button that'll let you go back to the main screen, that grantee data entry screen. We won't use that just yet. And then we start seeing our subsections. We have the partner organization subsection. We have the service area subsection, the service area population subsection, in addition to the subsections, we have an area for comments and file attachments. We're going to come back to these last two in just a little bit. Let's go back up to the top and let's look at this very first subsection. With a lot of your subsections, you're going to notice that there is a little information for you for that subsection to let you know what's expected within that subsection. In this particular subsection, the partner organization subsection, it's asking you to identify the number and type of partners, organizations participating in the RCORP MET Access project. And so you'll come to each one of these measures, and in each one of these measures, it's asking you for a number. And you'll notice that these measures, some of these measures have a red asterisk next to them. If there's a red asterisk next to a measure, that means that information for that measure is required before you're able to save and submit the report. You'll need to add that required information. And as you're putting in the information, we know that we need a number. I'm going to put in a number, and I'm going to put in a number with a decimal point. And when I go to the next field to put in my next number, I get a validation message letting me know that this field allows for whole numbers, so no decimal places, and the whole number can only be up to 2 digits. So it wouldn't be a 3-digit number, it would just be a 2-digit number. And you'll notice that the next field is giving me a message. If I try to go to the third field and skip the second field, because this has a red asterisk on it, it's a required field. So again, I'm getting a validation message letting me know that this field is a required field and I have to put that field in. And so all of these with a red asterisk need to be put in order for you to be able to move on to the next step. So I'm going to go ahead and put information in here. I'm not going to fill out an entire form for you. I'm going to do this step so you can see what it's like to have to put information in. And now is a good time, as I'm putting this information, for me to ask if there are any questions about anything that we've covered so far. I see someone has something in the chat.
Yeah, I see.
Okay.
You have added right now you are able to access the login.gov test site. However, HRSA test site is not available. So yes, you're right. As part of prerequisites, we are requesting participants to register their accounts in login.gov only at the moment. However, once the HRSA test site is available for the users to test on Monday, we'll send a confirmation email along with all other documents. Hope that answers your question.
And so I've come to some measures that do not have an asterisk next to them. Other measure type 1. So if there are other measures other than the ones that are listed here, then you can tell us what those other agency types might be and what the number was. So you'll put in the number and then you'll give a description. If you put in the number, then the description becomes a required field. If you put in the description, then the number becomes a required field. If you leave both blank, then you can move on without putting information in both of those, in either of those fields. The next subsection is the service area, and there's no information for the subsection, but it does have that measure there. It's asking you to select the option that best describes your project's service area. And in this case, instead of typing in numbers, we have a little arrow. If you click on it, it's a drop-down list. And you're going to see that there are different ways that we caption the information. Sometimes you'll type information into a field. Sometimes you'll have a drop-down list like this. Sometimes you'll have check boxes. Depending on the type of information we're capturing, we try to use the method that gives the most user-friendly experience for capturing it. So we want to select the option that best describes the project service area. Let's say it covers the state. And then the service area population is, once again, we have a little information here about this subsection. It's asking to respond with the total number of people that live in the project service area. And I'm going to say it's 560. And then, so now we have filled out all the information within the various subsections, and we come to the comments field. The comments field is a form comment. So if you put a comment on step 1, you'll be able to see it when you look at all the other steps on the form. So I'm going to put this in. And then we come to the files and attachments. This will let you upload documents. So if you have any supporting documents for the activity you're reporting, or anything else that would enhance the vision of the activity that you're reporting, you can upload those documents here. I'm not going to go through the steps right now. I just want you to be aware that you do have that capability. And once you put in all your information, you're going to be able to click the next button and move on to the next step. As I mentioned earlier, if a field is required and you try to go on to the next step, click the next button without filling in that field, you will get that validation error message again, asking you to fill in that particular field. So you won't be able to continue to the next step in a form until all the required information in the current form is filled in. So I'm going to go ahead and click next. And so that brings me to this next step where we have multiple subsections here as well. I'm not going to go through these subsections. I do want to scroll down to the comment section. Remember, I said when you put a comment in, it's for the full form. So I put this comment in on step 1, and I can see it on step 2. So if I put another comment in here, helps if you can spell. It always helps if you can spell. There we go. So now I have a comment, another comment in, and actually this comment won't be saved unless I click the next button, I don't believe, and I'm not going to be able to do that because that would trigger multiple validations, because all of this needs to be filled in before I could click next and have the system save my work and take me to the next step. Whenever you click next, it's saving your work and taking you to the next step. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back up to that button that I mentioned earlier, back to main screen button, and I'm going to click on that. And now when we look at the grantee data entry, we can see that form number 1 has, the status has changed. It's no longer not started. It's now in progress. It has a little orange clock face on it. And it's no longer a start button for form number 1. It's an edit button. So after you start working in one of these forms, you're going to be able to come back and edit them. I am going to show you one more form. Form 2 is a small form with only a couple of questions in 2 subsections. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to answer this question for non-fatal overdoses if they've, I'm going to say they've significantly decreased. And then I'm going to answer this question for fatal overdoses. I'm going to say that it has significantly increased. I could put in a comment in. This is a new form, so I put in a new comment. And I can attach new attachments to this form and then click next. And so now I come back to the grantee data entry page, and I can see that form number 2 is complete. So it's got a little green circle with a check mark and it's complete, and I can still edit it. So that is how you'll fill out these forms. I'm not going to take you through each one of the forms because we don't have that much time. What I am going to do now is I'm going to click back on our RSID performance reports. And this time I'm going to open up this other report, the one that ends in 006. This report is the one that has the status of change requested. And when I open up the drop-down list, you can see it was submitted on July 7th, and then, which is today, and then the project officer sent it back asking for more information. So I can go into this form specifically into the section that the project officer may have asked for, and edit, make any changes to address their questions. And click Next to save my work. And now I've completed all of the steps for all of the forms, all the subsections for all of the forms. I'm ready to come up to our Submit for Approval button, which I promised you we'd get back to, and here we are. So once you complete all of the forms in one of your reports and you're ready to submit it for approval by HRSA and by your project officer, you're going to verify that each one is in a complete status. Then you're going to come up to the Submit Approval button and click on Submit for Approval. And that will open up the Submit for Approval window. There's a space here for you to give comments. The comments are not required. They are optional, but they are encouraged. That way, when you're looking back, let's say you submit it and the project officer sends it back, you can have comments for each time you had to submit it, and you can differentiate between the submissions and remember where you were at that particular point when you were submitting. I'm just going to put something simple like, and once again, it helps if you can spell. There we go. And then once you have your comment in, click the Submit button. And now your report, the one ending in 006, is submitted. Notice the Submit for Approval button is no longer there. You'll also notice that in the grantee data entry section, you no longer have the edit options for any of these forms. Once you submit it, you're not going to be able to change it. You'll still be able to view it in read-only mode, but you won't be able to make any changes to the report itself. And as you go through in read-only mode, you'll notice that everything's grayed out and you can't make any changes to the fields. Click Next, and I'm going to go back to the main screen. And also, when you open up your header, expand it, you're going to notice that the review status is now submitted, and the submitted date is today. So that didn't change because I had submitted it earlier today. I can collapse this. And so that is how you would, the basic overview of how you would go through and answer the questions and address all the measures reporting your activity and then submit a report. And I also want to go back to our RSID tab here. And if I click on the list view and now I go to the submitted reports, I can see that this report is listed under the submitted reports, and it is no longer listed under the in progress reports. So we're a little close on time. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right over to the data extracts tab. When you click on the data extracts tab, this tab is going to let you be able to see the reports that are available for you. As of the August release, the report that will be available for you will be the grantee raw data report. Here it is in the report name. You'll see it there in recent. If you click on all reports, you'll see it there as well. So the very first time you log in, you may not see anything. You'll need to click on all reports and you can see all the reports that are available for you. This report is going to show you all of the data that you have in for all of your reports. It's literally extracting all the data from all of your reports. So you click on that name. The name is a clickable link, and it opens up the report, and you're going to see the fields that you have put in to this report, the measures for the report, and the information that you have put in. As you scroll to the right, you're able to see all the various fields, and they're all in the order that they appear in your performance report. And so you can go through and view all this, and you're going to be able to see it for all of the reports that you currently have or that you have had in the past, all the reports that are listed for your center. You can see there's our tracking number for 06 and 12. And so you're able to see all the information and you won't see any information from any other grantee, and no other grantee will see information about your reports. You'll only see the reports associated with your organization. And if you want to have those reports, you want to export it so you can work with that data, and for whatever reason that you want to work with it, you can come up here to the export button and click on export, and the export window will open, and you can choose your export view. You can either export the formatted report or the details only report. The formatted report will look a lot like the report that you see on the screen. Any formatting that is done in the report will be captured in the report as it's exported. And for the formatted report, you can only format as an Excel format, the XLSX format. If you choose the details only format report type, then you can choose other formats. You can choose the Excel format XLS or the Excel format XLSX, or you can export it as a comma delimited file, the CSV file. And whichever one you choose, you'll click the export button and it will be put into your downloads as an export. And that is everything that I wanted to demo for you. I'm going to turn it back over to Sudhanshu, and we'll take any questions that you have, I believe. Sudhanshu?
Yeah, thank you, Jerry. Before we get started on the question, I have just quickly one more document to show, which we will be sharing, and we call it as in a data sheet. So to all the UAT participants, the data sheet document will look like this, where we have the URL, what URL you will be using to log in the system, and then how this login instruction manual you have to follow. And for let's say if this is the participant name, this will be the participant email ID, which they should be using to create their account in testlogin.com, because this will be the same email ID which is getting used to create their account in HRSA test site. Same way, we'll have a separate sheet for the RSID BHS grantees. It will be on the same pattern. And as we stated, before you start using these credentials and following the UAT scripts, please create your account in testlogin.gov website, and that can be created before Monday, and where we have step-by-step instructions stated in this document. That being said, I know we are at 2:58, but if anyone has any questions, we are happy to answer those. Anyone? Any questions regarding the documents or regarding the demo? Please do let us know. If not now, feel free to send us an email or raise your hand or type in the chat window. If there are no other questions, just to summarize, I see somebody has posted in the Teams. Sure, Eliza, we have got this with the program, and okay, Anna has said yes. So, okay, we will go ahead and update this user ID. All right, any other question? If no other question, as a next step, the action item on DME team is, or on the implementation group is, will send out the confirmation email once the HRSA test site is up, along with all the documents, including kickoff deck, UAT, user acceptance testing scripts, UAT data sheet, and test login.gov registration step-by-step instruction document. We'll be sending out all these documents and the confirmation email that HRSA test site is up on Monday. And we would request grantees to start testing as soon as the the email has been sent out. But if they are not available next week and if they would like to test some other time, that is also totally okay. But if you are testing outside the test window, please do notify us in advance. And please utilize the grantee support hour as much as you can. In case of any concerns, question, then email to the same email invite, including HRSA Technology Office and Program Office. Any questions or anyone else would like to add something? Shripati?
No, thank you all participating. I think you covered all the topics, and please reach out to us for any other further questions, concerns, or any other feedback. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thank you all.